Permanent partner visa refusal risk. Having an Australian visa refused is bad, no question about it. Visa refusal is heartbreaking, but I can think of very few things worse than spending all that time, literally years, bringing your Filipina wife from Philippines to Australia and getting down to the point of being entitled to a permanent partner visa and then getting it refused. Australian Filipina couples nicely settled in Australia, possibly with kids and mortgages, and it all comes crashing down. Now, the reality is that you can remain on a temporary partner visa, be that an offshore subclass 309 or an onshore subclass 820, until they make a decision on the subclass 100 or subclass 801 permanent partner visa. Now, whether it's a visa grant or a visa refusal, the temporary visa ceases when they make their decision. Now, if they grant it, the permanent partner visa takes the place of the temporary partner visa. If they refuse it, they also refuse the temporary visa. Australian permanent partner visas. This is obviously the goal for all Australian partner visa applicants. You want your Filipina wife or fiance or partner to eventually have permanent residency in Australia, PR as it's sometimes called. Now, it gives her the right to remain in Australia for the rest of her life, and she would have to do something pretty terrible for them to cancel it. However, the risk is complacency, the Aussie's worst habit, arguably. We live a fairly non-threatened life in Australia compared to many places in the world, and we generally go through life feeling fairly bulletproof. Now, I covered this last year in the blog article about permanent partner visa stage and what must be done for it, and I hope that everyone has read this and understood it. If not, please click on the link and read it. Great danger to assume that you will just get this as a formality. Yes, you have applied for a permanent partner visa at the same time as applying for the temporary partner visa. Is a combined application. However, they will assess the permanent visa 2 years approximately after the actual application to see basically whether you both did the things that you said you would. They want to see if your genuine relationship has in fact been firmly in place or if you were just telling stories. Partner visas, a sad story. I've had a couple of clients, to my knowledge, over the years have their permanent partner visas refused. They did their own applications, and the impression I got was that they were a little bit too relaxed about it. This is one of the reasons why we started offering to manage permanent applications, because we saw how many actual refusals were out there in the big wide world. Plus, the department, in their dubious wisdom, decided that to stop informing clients when the permanent partner visa was ready to be finalised. A bit scary, and let me explain why. As I said above, if the permanent partner visa is refused, the temporary one is refused at the same time, or cancelled I should say, and that gives you 28 days to lodge an appeal, or the former visa holder has to leave the country. A professional colleague yesterday was chatting to me about a predicament that a client had found themselves in. If any of you think this is just a job for registered migration agents, then please think again. For most of us, this is a vocation. Not caring enough is rarely a problem for us. Caring too much is far more common. And yes, in this case, my colleague was pretty cut up about it. It wasn't his fault, but it meant a family torn apart and a child who cries for daddy every night. It's not so easy to take. Now, the couple made the mistake of not telling the department the new address. Remember how we always tell you that you need to tell the department immediately if you change contact details? Well, they didn't. The department couldn't find them, and several years had gone past since they had needed to finalise their subclass 801 visa, so they refused the 801, which effectively also cancelled the subclass 820. Now, the former visa holder was overseas when this happened, so this meant he stuck there and can't get back. Visa applications, take them seriously. Never take a visa application lightly. Never assume this is all easy and that the laid-back, easy-going dudes in the department will be okay with whatever you send. Now they can and they do refuse people. They just left a husband and father stuck in another country away from his family. Now they have a job to do, and the basis of visa grants and refusals is written in law and rarely flexible. They couldn't contact the client, they couldn't finalise the application. They refused it, and that led to the cancellation. Wasn't the department's fault. Partner visa golden rules. Don't try to submit a half partner visa application, be that a prospective marriage visa, temporary partner or permanent partner. Don't shortchange them. Don't take the near enough is good enough approach, or the only thing near enough will be the departures gate at the airport. Awful joke, excuse me. If you change contact details, inform them immediately. Form 929, registered post. And watch the calendar. Never ignore these important dates, be that the dates needed to enter by, dates that visas expire, and never forget the date you applied for a temporary partner visa. Don't wait for us to tell you, because we have enough to do. Thank you. This video was brought to you by Down Under Visa, who specialise in visas for Australian Filipina couples. Please visit our website and complete a free visa assessment form, and please watch some of our other videos. Thank you.